Right now, I want to talk matters technology and how technology can be used to help SMEs and also the big companies in terms of cloud computing. And joining me right now, we are privileged to host Frank Koske, who is the General Manager, Smart Financing for Africa, Microsoft. Many thanks. And to my extreme left, we have a gentleman who many of us do know, and they are behind providing internet connectivity across the continent, and that is the Chief Executive Officer for Liquid Telecom. Many thanks, Robert, for coming over. Of course, the big question right now is how can companies embrace ICT in a cheaper and convenient way? Perhaps we can start off with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what our partnership that we're announcing today is about. It's about bringing more affordable internet access to small and medium enterprises on the continent, actually across Africa. And how we do that is through partners like Liquid and providing specialized services through local partners like Africa 118, as an example.
Okay. So, Robert, what will be done differently on this matter?
Look, the main difference really of where things are going is that as services, software services from the likes of Microsoft and other companies moving into the cloud, at the moment you go and buy your cloud software from your local ICT dealer, and then you might go and buy your internet service from someone like me, and then if one isn't compatible with the other, is not fast enough, then you don't know who to blame, and this is the thing. So what we're really doing is we're packaging the connectivity and the software part into one, and then enabling those software dealers, those small businesses, large businesses, medium companies that are selling software in this market, to take that bundle together, and that means that you're going to have a service assured. You know it's going to be fast enough. You know it's going to work, and that's really where we're going. Yeah.
And I know, Frank, you've dealt a lot with SMEs in the country, but it seems the product is for the high-end SMEs. Right. How true is this, and what sort of plans do you have to reach the common man on the ground who is keen on growing their business using this platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working with several partners, and in particular to provide specialized services for small and medium enterprises. Africa 118 is a good example.
Yeah.
Another example is AGIN, which is agricultural insurance for the agricultural sector and the small and medium enterprises there. The idea being that we bring combined services that sit on our platform, are delivered through Liquid Telecom to the small and medium enterprises. So they don't have to pay for infrastructure, and they get an affordable service that's relevant for them.
Perhaps have you been able to roll out this model elsewhere, and what was the success rate?
Yeah, well, sort of outside of Kenya, you mean? Yeah. So we've rolled out in several countries, actually, including in India, and we're in South Africa. We've got Biz for Africa, which is a combination website which allows services for small and medium enterprises and large enterprises to offer services to small and medium enterprises, so that they can get access to accountancy, legal, web services through Biz for Africa. We've launched that also here in Kenya. All
right. And Robert, how significant is it to lower the cost for the SME, and what does this translate to in how they do their business?
Yeah, I mean, it is significant. I mean, you said about, is this just for the big boys? And when we started building fiber in Africa 7, 8 years ago, the networks were not ready to support cloud. And about a year and a half ago, I've been here 3 years now, but after moving here and experiencing the network, we decided it was time that we could move to the cloud. But we're a big corporate, and we own the bandwidth as well, so we can afford as much bandwidth as we want. And the key is in making the combination of the internet package and the software packages affordable, so that the business is only going to have so much of its spend for ICT services, and we need to make it so that that spend is spent in the right place. You're not spending too much on this and not spending enough on the software, and not investing enough on the speed of connection. So it's really important to get that right, get that mix right, and that's where we want to aim.
All right. So Robert, looking at the ICT trends, what have we been seeing in terms of the ICT spend? Has it been growing? Has it stagnated? Has it gone down?
It tends to stay the same. So a business or it's a consumer will only can spend what they can afford. Now, obviously, if business is growing, it can afford to spend more on its ICT as it's growing. But if it's staying the same, its spend is going to stay the same. But what you're getting out of it is more. So we see the price per megabit dropping, and we see the more megabits to get, the more you can use services like cloud. You can put your things on the cloud. That means that you don't have to invest in servers sitting in your data center. So the overall, you don't have what you don't spend on hardware sitting in your data room. You can now spend on connectivity. So overall, you get more for the same amount of money, and that's the trend going forward.
Okay. So now that we are deeply trying to reach out to the SMEs who are struggling to transition their business to becoming medium, from small to medium, perhaps what sort of rates are we looking at?
Right. So affordability is, we define, we use World Economic Forum figures and UN figures as 5% of income. So in reality, that's graduated depending on the income. And, I think in terms of access, through our partner, Liquid's partner and Microsoft's partner here in Kenya, Mawinga Networks is providing connectivity for consumers and SMEs at a very low rate in the Nanyuki area.
All right.
So at a roughly, that's their price is 300 shillings a month for connectivity for the consumer. But the small and medium enterprise, pays a little bit more and gets a bit more service and some more software with it from the cloud platform.
Interesting. And gentlemen, many thanks for coming over. Of course, this is a conversation we will continue to have. It's quite exhaustive. And we'll be making time to expand this conversation. Many thanks there. We've been speaking to Frank Koske, the General Manager, Microsoft. And we are also privileged to have with us Robert, Ben Roberts, actually. He's the CEO of Liquid Telecom. Many thanks for speaking to us and still keeping it